All right, watched another episode of Stargirl, this one titled Shiv, which is apparently the supervillain name of Nasty Cindy, the main cool girl of the high school and all that. And surprise, she's a daughter of one of the villains, and specifically the character Dragon King, who's the guy with the bag over his head. I'm not up on these characters. I'm not all that familiar with Dragon King, and I had no knowledge. Looking it up and some of the images, I said, oh yeah, I'm sure I've seen that in an advertisement or something. But the character of Shiv, which I don't know, is that the way it is in the comics? She is the daughter of Dragon King, I suppose. But anyway, that's the deal with her, and they keep it still a little bit mysterious. Something happened to her mother. I don't know who was her mother, what was her mother, because Dragon King, I don't think he's completely human, at least not anymore. But anyway, very simply, some things work and some things don't with Stargirl. In this episode, it kind of solidifies that the stuff I can't stand, which is high school soap opera type stuff. They're actually working it into their overall plot, or whatever the plan is of the Injustice Society. That they've convinced themselves is some kind of noble plan for their children and all that stuff. And the whole thing is it plays into the legacy of all that. And that's what the deal is. And plus, they return to the mirror trope here from they did in the previous one, where a Stargirl begins to have some sympathy for Pat when she finds herself in the same position with the team that he was with her. And then here, which is kind of odd here, it's a bit of a departure in that she seemed to have learned a lesson, and now she seems to forget it, where she's impatient. Pat tries to train the team, so they train at the auto shop. He's got a little room set up, and there's all this stuff for them to practice on, and the rest of the team is pretty much all for it, but Stargirl is like, this is stupid, we're wasting our time, and then she wipes out all the little obstacle course stuff he had set up. She says, see there, I know what I'm doing. And the team gets irritated because they were all supposed to practice, and she sort of ruins it. And even though she feels bad about it, she still doesn't learn her lesson. She goes off on her own and gets her ass handed to her by mean girl Cindy, who is, of course, Shiv. Now, we get a few details of Shiv, of course. Like I said, we don't know a lot about her mother and all that. But we do see the lair of Dragon King. And she storms in there when she's not supposed to. Apparently, Dragon King's wife, is her stepmother, is basically just her slave that she intimidates. It was all very, very nasty. And but the sets for the lair and everything, it looks well. They do utilize shading and lighting to make this work, and that when you don't have the money for elaborate sets, you can make it. But the set for the Dragon King lair looks all right. The fight between Stargirl and Shiv is within the school. So, again, you make use of the sets you have. And with shadow and whatnot, it works. And it works well for the story. She apparently is still unaware that Stargirl is Courtney, even though after she roundly beats the crap out of her and leaves her unconscious, you can hear Pat calling out for her. He's looking for her. The staff actually goes and finds him and says, she's in trouble. Stupid staff. And so leads Pat there, and you can hear Pat calling for Courtney. And then you would think Shiv would figure that out. But it was very dark, and she's needing to escape. And plus, there was a third player in this mysterious janitor who, if you're a DC Comics fan of some sort, even though I don't have enough knowledge about these particular characters, I do know this one, and that is Sir Justin the Shining Knight, who was one of the original members of the Justice Society. And he's actually a knight from King Arthur's court, and I forget exactly. Did he jump through time, or was he somehow frozen or something? I can't remember exactly. Kind of like Captain America, I guess, if it was that. But anyway, that's how old he is, and apparently something's happened to him. He's got a beard, so I guess Pat doesn't recognize him, and he's not altogether there in the head. But in seeing the danger and what's happening with Stargirl, he rushes in with his sword and attacks Shiv, or Cindy here, and then he just disappears. At first, when they were showing him around, I thought, oh, maybe he's what's his name, Johnny from the Johnny Thunder from with the Thunderbolt. They did reference it, and apparently it's locked up in that pin that Courtney stole from the Justice Society headquarters. So, but it's not him. This is Sir Justin the Shining Knight. So I'm thinking as they go forward, we'll find out that there are some surviving members of the original JSA that may show up. Certainly Dr. Fate could. I'm thinking Green Lantern might be able to, or they'll get a new one. Or, Dr. Fate and the Spectre, of course, because the Spectre is already dead. So they can have an appearance by him if they wanted to. So that's some of the highlights of it. The stupid stuff is just the delivery of it gets a little bad, and the stupid songs and everything and all that. But all in all, this was not all that terribly bad episode. They actually had some interesting aspects where they almost set up there's a beginning of perhaps a friendship between Courtney and Cindy. Cindy's upset. She's not getting along. And what the deal is, there was some reference that, well, she used to be a nice girl, and then suddenly she turned very nasty. And it seems to be this had something to do with the death of her mother. And then she's just quite the spoiled princess. I mean, she wants everything now, and I think eventually she's probably going to kill her father to take what she wants. She wants to be on the villain team and all that, and pretty much beyond redemption at this point. She kills one of his minions, but apparently they're just zombies anyway. So, and she's a very well trained fighter. She takes this suit, and her father said, "Do not touch that. That's not for you, at least not yet." And she had this staff that's some kind of magic. I know it's got a dragon shape on it. It does breathe fire and all that. So it's, gives Stargirl a run for her money. But she puts the suit on, and I kind of wondered, well, was her mother the original Shiv? Maybe was that the story? I don't know. But anyway, she suits up and she goes into action, and she's a formidable opponent and all that stuff. But her main power is these little pokey things, the shivs themselves, I guess come out of her wrists. I'm not sure, like Wolverine. And I think stick with the staff. That seemed more formidable and a better weapon. But anyway, Courtney really does get beat bad here, and she's in bad shape at the end of it. So perhaps that'll be a lesson for her. But there again, I guess it's a small criticism of that. She seemed to be gaining some amount of wisdom in the previous episode and then abandons all that in this one. But there you go. There was some other interesting back between her and her brother where he's getting jealous. All of a sudden she's spending all this time with Pat, and he's like, he's really my dad, he's just your stepfather, and I don't like you taking all the time and stuff. And so all that these elements. And meanwhile, I don't know, I'm thinking they're setting it up where Icicle, even though his wife has died and he misses her and all, they did was a genuine love there. He has a genuine love for his son, which is interesting here. The villains do have love to somewhat, however bizarre and creepy it is, certainly with Dragon King, but for the most of them, they care about their kids and all of that. So they're in this, it's a strange setting, and it is somewhat of interest that they're not just the bad guys. They are bad people, but they seem to have these sympathetic motives that you could see into. But anyway, I'm thinking Icicle has an attraction for Pat's wife, and that might lead somewhere down the road. So all in all, I just, it's, if it wasn't for the DC Universe aspect of it, this show would hold no interest for me whatsoever. I could see, I think, maybe younger people might be like this, maybe. It does have a lot of the production value is superior to most CW shows, and this one is sort of separate from that, although it is this, multiverse. There you go, you're done. But I do see the potential that it could reach the excellence that the Flash show did. The Flash does not always reach that, and lately this last season was pretty much a dud. But this show might get there. I don't know just yet. Slowly but surely we're getting there. The other problems, of course, is that this isn't an exact representation, because I do know some of these characters. I know the female Dr. Midnight, I know the other Hourman and all that stuff, and this isn't quite how it went. They weren't teenagers, for instance. But what are you gonna do? This is what you get. And all in all, considering other shows that were just anger me or just flat out lazy and stupid, this one isn't quite in that category. So that's where I know it's the same thing over and over again, which leaves me in a bizarre position. I just can't really make a full decision on it. Just drop it already, you know. But I guess you got to go work at it, since the other shows that really pissed me off so bad. But anyway, there it is, Stargirl Shiv, and we'll see how she recovers next week. Alright, thank you for watching and listening, Slay. Why not like and subscribe, and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my mini stores that have plenty of goodies for you. You know, hats, mugs, stickers, posters, all that goody stuff. Plus, you can head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. Plus, you can also catch my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, over at RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on my channel at BitChute. That's the Mr Nailsin channel on BitChute.com.